Happy Sunday. Welcome back to the kitchen. And today, because it's Sunday, I'm making my meat gravy. Yes, I said gravy, but you can say sauce. Michael, you know who I'm talking to. Anyway, I just wanted to invite you back to the kitchen and hopefully you're going to enjoy how I make mine. Let's get started. All right, so for the ingredients, it's very simple. Again, this is going to be my meat gravy, all right? So you only put meat. Now, I am using only pork today. Normally, I would put some meatballs. I fry my meatballs on the side. My family likes them actually outside of the gravy. So what I do is I just fry them and we eat them plain. So now what we're going to do is I have all my pork here. I have some Italian sweet sausage. I have some neck bones, pork. You can use beef if you prefer. And these are just a couple of country ribs. They're more for flavor. I like them on the bone, but I couldn't find them in the store, so I just got the plain ones. You can really use any kind of meat you want in this. I even like to use, like my grandmother used to use the chevelade, the skinny sausage. Cut that up. You could put hot sausage, but this is how I do it. I like the sweet sausage in it. Okay, you're gonna need some olive oil, of course. I like Filippo Berio or Bertolli. I have a little bit of wine that I like to throw in there. Some minced up garlic, fresh basil, of course, always have fresh basil. Then you're gonna have, I have my San Marzano tomatoes. These are whole tomatoes, so what you wanna do is you gotta get in there and you gotta crush them with your hands or use a thing, but you don't need to. Just wash your hands good and crush them up. And I got 2 cans of San Marzanos, 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, and I have a little small can of paste. Now, the ingredients that I put in my spices is gonna be salt and pepper. This is a little garlic powder. This is oregano and dried basil. This is freeze-dried basil. It's actually nice. It's like real fresh basil, but they actually freeze-dry it, so it's good. And again, don't forget your fresh basil, which I said before. And that's it. It's all you need. So let's head over to the stove. Oh, wait, before you do that, you want to make sure that your sausage is got holes in it. You want to prick it with this fork in a few different spots. I already did the others, but you want to make sure you do that. Otherwise, it's going to pop. It's going to explode, and you don't want that all over you. So let's go over to the stove, and we'll fry up the meat first. So we're going to take the olive oil and the meat and the garlic to the stove. Okay, guys, so we're at the stove now, and we're going to brown the meat. Now, you can brown it in a separate pot, but there's no sense in doing that because you want the flavors from, you know, all the meat in your pot of gravy, right? So I have this on medium heat right now. My stove goes by numbers, so I have it on about a 6 right now, okay? We're gonna add in your olive oil. Nice amount, not too much. And the garlic. Now, I minced up my garlic, and like I always tell you, however you like your garlic. You wanna leave it whole, you leave it whole. You wanna mince it, you wanna slice it. I mince it up, get it in there. Now, we're gonna start with the sausages, all right? We're gonna get them in here, get them browned up. I use my hands for everything, I tell you. Just make sure your hands are clean. And what you wanna do is get a nice little brown on each side over here. You put as much meat as you can, you know. You don't wanna get it too tight in there. You wanna get it enough that you can move it around. So this is enough. I have to come back and add the rest of it. So we're gonna let that cook now until it gets brown. I'll show you what it looks like when it's all completed. We're gonna pull them out and keep browning the rest of the meat, and then we're gonna throw it all back in the pot when we start adding in the tomatoes. Okay, so let this brown about maybe 5 minutes, and I'll see you in a few. Okay guys, come and see the sausage now. This is kind of browning up here nicely. So you wanna get it to about this kind of consistency, okay? Not consistency, this color. All right, so you're gonna let that go on the other side another minute or 2. See, it's gotta get a little bit more crispy. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna brown up the rest of the sausage and the rest of the meat. Same exact thing. What you're gonna do though is after you brown it, like I said, you gotta do it in batches unless you have this massive pot, which I don't feel like taking out. And you're gonna take everything out of the pot, put it to the side until everything is browned, and then we're gonna put it all back into the pot. So when that's done, I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll add in the tomatoes. By the way, in the meantime, what you wanna do is you wanna crush those San Marzanos and get them like nice and crushed, but leave, you know, don't get them too small because you want to have a nice chunk of tomato in your mouth when you eat. So we'll see you in a few. Okay, so I was able to brown all the meat. I got the sausages, the neck bones, and the ribs, and we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna put the tomatoes in the pot. All right, now, like I said, you want to use the same pot. I do. You could do it differently if you want, but this is the way you should do it. All right. So if you want to come and see here, I have all the stuff, the brown stuff from all the meat in here. That's going to give it a nice flavor. Now to this, you want to lower your temperature down to like maybe about a 3. Okay, you don't want it too high. Always going to go slow, long and slow. That's how you have to cook it. Okay, now you're going to put your tomatoes in here. This is just a little bit of tomato paste, a small can. I don't have my glasses on, but whatever the little can is what you're gonna use, all right? It's gonna make it a nice thickness. You're just gonna put that in here a little bit on the bottom. Get that stirred into your pot. And now we're gonna start adding in the tomatoes. Oops. So first we're gonna put in, it doesn't matter which one you do, but I have 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. I'm gonna throw those in. All right, so these going in first. And I have 2 cans of the San Marzano tomatoes that are whole tomatoes, and I crushed them up by hand. So we're gonna just very carefully get them in there. All right, so we're gonna throw those in. Now, what you really wanna do is you wanna get a little bit of water and just, swish out the, in fact, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pause for 1 second. I'm gonna get a half a can of water in one of the cans. So what I did was I filled a half of the water in one of the cans. And what you wanna do is just kind of go back and forth. You wanna get all the tomatoes out of there. You don't really have to do it, but this is how I always do it. So, that's the right way. And then you're gonna throw that in. Okay, now you're gonna get ready. Well, you're gonna hold on to a can because remember I told you it's what I use to put my spoon rest in. Now, to here, what you wanna do is put in your spices. Again, I always say I don't know what I do. I kind of eyeball it, all right? So I'm kind of going by what I think I'm going to put in there. So we got the garlic, pepper, salt, oregano, and freeze-dried basil. You could just use regular dried basil. It doesn't have to be that. And you're going to chuck it all in there, all right? Now, you could add a little extra, which I probably will, but you want to get this all mixed in nice. And once you got this all mixed in with all your spices, now I like to throw in a little of the wine. Now this you can raise your heat just a tad. Now I'm gonna go back up to like 5. Okay, get it started to simmer. And we're gonna throw in, I'm using the Pinot Grigio that I use for my chicken franchise because I don't really drink this one. So I'm gonna just put a little bit in. All the alcohol burns off, so it's not like you're really drinking any wine. It just gives it a little nice flavor. Okay, now from here you're gonna throw in your fresh basil. You can never have enough fresh basil, so you can throw in as much or as little as you want. This is just a nice big handful over here, and I can't wait to start growing it. I'm going to have my garden set up probably another maybe month, and I'll get some nice fresh herbs outside, which should be nice. Okay, now to this, with the pot, you're going to put back your meat. Don't just throw it in. Be careful, because you don't want it to splash all over the place. This is a very fatty piece of rib here. Normally I like the bones, like I said, but this is going to give it a lot of flavor. You could pull that fat out later when it's all cooked. But you're going to get all this back in, and you're going to now let this simmer for probably about, I'm going to say a good 3 to 4 hours, all right? The longer you cook it, the better it's going to taste. And you got to cook it on low heat and keep stirring it give it a good stir like every half an hour. Make sure you get the bottom of the pot so you don't want it to burn. You certainly don't want to taste any burnt tomatoes in there. That doesn't taste too good. So we're gonna do all that. This is in. Get rid of this stuff. And now give it a good stir. Make sure everything's all mixed in nice. Cook it on low heat. Like I said, once it starts to simmer and bubble a little bit, I lower it down to about a 3. And I let it cook on low heat, good 3, 4, 5 hours, depending on how fast you want to eat. I started it a little bit late today, but this should definitely be ready to go by about 5 o'clock today. It's about 1:30 right now, so I'd say by 5, dinner should be all ready. So you're gonna let it cook. Like I said, keep giving it a good stir. If it really starts popping, if you have one of those little screen things that covers the gravy from popping, you can use it, but you don't want to cover it. You want the air to hit it, and it's gonna get a nice thickness to that. It's gonna simmer down. So this is it. And we'll see in a couple of hours when it starts to cook and get closer to eating it. Guys, it's about 5 o'clock, so this has been cooking now for about 3.5 hours, and it's pretty much cooked. So I have my pot of water boiling, or it's almost boiling for my macaroni. I'm gonna make a little bit of penne, and this is pretty much what it should look like when it's all done, all right? So it looks really good, nice and thick. Not too thick, not too thin, looking good. Everything's all cooked in there nice now. Okay, like I said, I only have in here some pork, but neck bones, sausage, and some ribs. But it really is smelling so good. So we're gonna just cook the macaroni. Of course, make your macaroni al dente. We'll strain it, I'll plate it up, and we'll see you at the tasting area. See you in a bit. Okay guys, it's all done, and I have it on a plate. I have some penne macaroni, nice and al dente. I made a little bit of a garlic bread over here. Okay, I got a half a sausage and a little bit of a neck bone. I didn't take the ribs yet, but I'll taste it later. Now, of course, it's never complete until you add a little extra cheese. I did put a little cheese on it already, but we'll throw a little bit more. There's never enough cheese, right? And then I also found this stuff. I didn't try it yet. It's double cream ragout, which I love a little bit of ragout on my plate. You don't have to do it, but I recommend it. So we'll just throw a little bit right over here. And you mix that in. A little bit of ground pepper. And dinner is served. Okay? So we're going to try it, taste it, see how it is. Get a little ragout on there. A couple pieces of macaronis. And here we go. Nothing like a Sunday meal. Wash it down with a little bit of wine and enjoy. If you do like what I made today, please subscribe to my channel. And I hope you enjoy it. It really is delicious. And it's simple, just takes a while to cook. Never ever open a jar of that crap in the store. I don't look at it, I don't touch it. There's no reason for it. You can make it yourself and it'll be perfectly delicious and just cheap. It's a cheap meal, but it's delicious. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Salute.